If you were to list the most embarrassing things that could happen to a professional bus driver, I would be willing to bet that getting lost would be in the top 5. So imagine the embarrassment felt by one driver who took his passengers 300 kilometers off course. It was a party of school children and their teachers from Wiesbaden going on a trip to the North Sea island of Juist. This involved driving to a place called Norddeich and taking the ferry from there. So the driver told his GPS to take them to Norddeich, and that's exactly what the GPS did. Norddeich is actually a part of the town of Norden in the state of Lower Saxony, so you have to make it clear to your GPS that you're heading for Norden. If you just key in Norddeich, it will take you to a different Norddeich, which is a parish in the district of Dithmarschen. It's not even in the same state, it's in Schleswig-Holstein. They eventually got to the correct Norddeich, but by then they'd missed the last ferry, so they had to spend the night in the local school gymnasium on emergency beds supplied by the Red Cross. For the record, the kids had a great time. The bus driver, not so much. There are lots of names in Germany which are used more than once, and you have to be very careful to distinguish between them. For example, there is the very famous city of Frankfurt on the River Main, which is not to be confused with the much smaller city of Frankfurt on the River Oder. In the Black Forest is the city of Freiburg, which calls itself Freiburg im Breisgau to distinguish it from another Freiburg on the River Elbe. There are also 2 Oldenburgs, one of them is in Holstein, and the other, in order to make the difference clear, adds to its name an abbreviation of itself. No, not really. In fact, it's the abbreviation of the region that was named after the city, so it's Oldenburg in Oldenburg. And incidentally, that's how Baden-Baden got its name. Halle gets 4 mentions. There's the city on the River Saale, the town in Westphalia, the parish near the town of Neuenhaus, and a place that just calls itself Halle. There's also a Halle which is part of the parish of Morsbach. But that's nothing compared to the number of places there are called Neustadt, around 20, and that doesn't include internal divisions of other towns and cities. To distinguish between different places with the same name, some kind of suffix is usually added, but there's no system for doing so. It could be the name of the area it's in, the river that it's on, or a place that it's near. Sometimes it's written in full, sometimes as an abbreviation, sometimes in parentheses, sometimes with a slash. And sometimes you'll find the same place name being written in different ways. Sometimes the name of the train station will have a suffix where the city doesn't, which just adds to the confusion. For example, if you want to go to Marburg, the signs at the train station read Marburg Lahn. Why? Well, it was at one time officially Marburg an der Lahn. There was also Marburg an der Drau, but that's now in Slovenia and called Maribor. So the German city of Marburg dropped the suffix from its official name, but the railway company didn't drop it from the station name. That's nowhere near as confusing as Gustavsburg and Bischofsheim. These used to be suburbs of the city of Mainz, but are now independent towns. But the railway company still calls them Mainz-Gustavsburg and Mainz-Bischofsheim, even though Mainz isn't even in the same state. So, what lessons can we draw from this? Well, first of all, school children are always up for an adventure. Second, modern technology is a wonderful thing, but it won't do your thinking for you. Third, Germany can be a surprisingly complicated place to find your way around in, and you've really got to plan your trip very carefully. If you want to minimize the risk of making a horrible mistake, avoid scheduling any stops in a place called Neustadt. You never know where you'll end up. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to send me a postcard, here's the address. And don't forget to visit my website and follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you'd like access to special bonus content and help with the costs of running this channel, please consider making a small monthly donation on Patreon.